we'll go ahead. The only thing I asked tonight, feel free to have your videos on. Um, that's always fun. But I do just ask that you keep yourselves muted so that we're not disturbing in the concert. Although, hey, that may give it more of a live feel. As we were recording this concert, some people were walking in and out of the classroom, so you may still hear the sensation of doors opening and closing and people leaving. But anyway, that's all I ask, that we keep ourselves muted so we're not disturbing anyone during the performances. My name is Thomas Winch. I was the Scandinavian choir director for this semester. It's been great working with this choir. I think we had 20 students, 18 to 20 students. So it was a pretty good sized choir. And only about half of us had served in Scandinavia. The other half were just looking to be part of a choir. So we were happy to have such a great group to work with this semester. But I'm a commercial music major here at BYU, which proved to be beneficial for what we're going to be doing tonight. And I also teach the Icelandic classes at BYU. So lots of connections. I love Scandinavia, although I'm a little partial to Iceland. But yeah, it's been a crazy semester regarding what we were going to do for a concert here tonight as well. Virtual concerts are becoming more and more of a thing, though, with COVID, I feel like. But things were changing even just until a couple of days ago, rushing to get recordings and trying to get everything ready for tonight. But here we are, we've made it, and fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly. There's the potential for lots of technical difficulties. So please let me know in the chat if anything isn't working, if when I'm sharing my screen, if any of the songs aren't working or anything like that. I think though the volume is just on your end. So if something needs to be turned up, feel free to turn up your volume. I don't think I have too much control over that. But hopefully the recordings come across okay. Everyone sounded great. So what we ended up doing for our concert is we originally planned, because I'm a commercial music major and I work in some recording studios here, I was going to bring everyone into the studios and we would have nice, good quality recordings. But as COVID got worse and things just started closing and everything went online, what we ended up doing was everyone taking out their phones the last couple of days of class, recording themselves singing into their phones and emailing me those recordings. So it's not the highest quality, but it's not bad. It's better than nothing. So I recorded the piano and then everyone sent me their individual recordings on their phones and I put it all together. So we've got a pretty good concert for you tonight. It won't be too long because everything went online for the last couple of weeks. We only had time to learn 4 songs. So between figuring out what we would do for a concert and learning pronunciation and the music, we've ended up learning just 4 songs. So I apologize to anyone representing Norway tonight. Norway was the one country that was left out, mostly because we didn't have a Norwegian speaker in the choir, but we would have liked to learn a Norwegian song, but we didn't get to it. Let's see, so let's go ahead and begin. Tonight, what we'll be doing is we'll have everyone do we have some pre-recorded presentations and we have some live ones as well. So we'll have our groups present on their country and then we'll play the song from that country. So to begin tonight, what we'll be doing is playing our Swedish presentation and then listening to our Swedish song. Did you know that? Okay, so let's go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if this doesn't work. We'll try and get this to work. But let me pull up the Swedish presentation and slide. We spent our last couple days in class because we've learned you can't really sing over choir together. So we ended up just spending some time during class working on these presentations. Okay, so I'm getting some things in the chat. I do ask that we all keep ourselves muted so that, and I can go through and view people individually, so I'll try and keep an eye out for that. But if you could do it yourselves, that'll just make things much easier as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and share this screen and hopefully this will work. Okay, and let me know if any of this is, well, let me make sure I shared the computer sound. Okay. Here we go, we'll play this presentation. Here we go. So the first one on Sweden.
So this is a Swedish presentation on some traditional Christmas Swedish traditions and some areas of Sweden. So the first one is Sankta Lucia, which is the Swedish celebration of Saint Lucia. It's a Christian holiday observed on the 13th of December. Traditional Swedish songs are sung, and one girl is named Lucia. She has a crown of candles on her head and is followed by a procession of boys and girls dressed up as her attendants, star boys, and as gingerbread boys as well. There are often concerts in schools and in the Swedish churches. And it's a festival of lights in the middle of the winter when it's the darkest time of year. They celebrate the light that Christmas revolves around. It's often celebrated with baked goods and with traditional foods. And that is St. Lucia.
And in Sweden, they're well known for their unique Christmas traditions. Like they have something called a Yule board, which is a traditional Christmas table full of fermented herring, ham, lingonberries, potatoes, smoked salmon, and Swedish meatballs. And Jultomten, which is Santa Claus, comes in person to give gifts to the children during the day. And on Christmas Day, everyone in Sweden watches Kalle Anka, which is a mashup of cartoons like Donald Duck and his friends wish you a Merry Christmas, which is very famous in Sweden. And that's some Christmas traditions in Sweden.
So the next thing about Sweden that we wanted to discuss is Advent. So Advent is celebrated throughout the world by Christians, but especially in Sweden, there's some fun Advent traditions. A couple of those are every Sunday during the month of December, people will light a candle, which I actually don't know what the tradition is there, but it looks pretty on the table. They also all put, it kind of looks like a Jewish menorah, but it's like a pyramid of candles, and they all put them in the windows as well as stars. And it kind of goes along with Lucia, that they're celebrating light in the darkest parts of winter, especially because in Sweden, during the winter, depending on where you are geographically, there's not much sunlight. So if you're up north, a lot of places, there's no sunlight at all during the winter, and it's just 24 hours of darkness. And vice versa. In the summer, there's 24 hours of light and no darkness. But anyway, so during Advent, they light candles to celebrate the light. And so, like I mentioned, it's celebrated for the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas. They set the stars in the windows. Let's see. Some other ways they celebrate Advent is by eating gingerbread cookies, cardamom rolls, and by drinking mulled wine. Or while we were on our mission, we drank glögg, which they talk about in Frozen, the part where they're looking for Elsa, and the guy goes, "There's hot glögg for everyone at the castle." Anyways, yeah, so that's Advent.
The next part of Sweden we wanted to focus on was Norrland. Norrland is the largest and the least populated area of Sweden, and it's the most northern part of Sweden, so it's very Christmassy up there, and it goes all the way up to the North Pole. And to add on to the Christmassy atmosphere, there's a lot of reindeer farmers up there, and there's a popular tradition to eat raw fermented herring in large gatherings up in Norrland.
So last but not least, I'm going to talk about Stockholm, but quickly, I thought I would tell a little story about reindeer in Norrland. When I was in my first area on my mission, we were driving home from a little village way up north, and it was like negative 30 degrees, and my companion had to go to the bathroom, so we pulled off on the side of the road, and some reindeer ran past us, and then we got the car stuck in the snow. Anyways, it was super magical. And on to Stockholm. So Stockholm is actually the capital of Sweden, and it's huge. It's hustling and bustling. It's very cool, very fun. So a couple of unique places in Stockholm is there's Stora Torget, which is translates to like the large square, and it's just a big like town square. It's super beautiful. It's in the middle of the city. There's a lot of shopping there, a lot of museums, a lot of traditional Scandinavian architecture. Another landmark in Stockholm is Stadshuset, which is the state house or the state building. It's kind of like the Capitol building, super beautiful. Lots of tradition there. And then lastly, Stockholm is made up mostly of small islands connected by boats, and then people have built roads, obviously, and train tracks to connect the islands. But really, it's not like one landmass. It's just a bunch of small islands. So super beautiful, lots of water, lots of people. And that's our presentation on Sweden.
All right. So there, you know a bit more about what Christmas is like in Sweden. Let's go ahead and take a listen to our Swedish song now. Hopefully, I've uploaded all of our songs to YouTube so that hopefully these will work. Also, I saw in the chat there was the question, will this be recorded? Yes. We'll record this meeting so that people can go watch it later. There were a fair amount of choir members that couldn't make it tonight, but would still like to see it. So we'll record it so we can watch it again later. Okay, I'll share my screen. Again, let me know in the chat if you cannot hear this, but here we go. This first song, Halig er Jordan, it's all about praising the celebration of the birth of the Savior and the creation of the world. All right, so there is our Swedish song, the first one of the night. Next up, we've got our Icelandic song, Her himnasmiður. So let me pull up the Icelandic presentation, and then we'll go ahead and listen to Her himnasmiður. So this one, they'll talk about Iceland, or Christmas on Iceland, and some traditions they have. So here we go.
One of Iceland's Christmas traditions is the Jólasveinarnir, or the Yule Lads. They're 13 mischievous pranksters that have a role similar to Santa Claus today. Their mother is Grilla, and she lives in the mountain and only leaves to devour naughty children during Christmas time. The Jólakötturinn, or the Yule Cat, is the family's cat who will also eat children that have not received new clothing to wear before Christmas Eve. So you better get that. The first Yule lad is Stekkjarstaur, who harasses sheep but is impaired by his stiff peg legs. On the next day, Giljagar comes and hides in the gullies, waiting for the perfect opportunity to sneak into the cowshed and steal milk. Stufur comes on the third day. He is very short and steals pans to eat the crusts left on them. The next day, Thorsleikr comes and he steals the thorur, which is a type of wooden spoon with a long handle to lick. The next day, Pottaskeffilt comes to steal the leftovers from the pots.
The next day is Askaleskir, and he hides under beds waiting for someone to put down their asker, a type of bowl, which he then steals. The next day is Hurðaskellir. He likes to slam doors, especially during the night, to wake people up. The next day is Skýragamur. He is the Yule lad who likes to eat all the skyr, which is a type of yogurt. The next day is Bjugnakrækir, and he is the sausage swiper. He hides in the rafters and snatches sausages that are being smoked. The next day is Glukagægir, who is a guy who looks through the windows in search of things to steal. The next day is Gautathevr, who has an abnormally large nose and an acute sense of smell, which he uses to locate laufabrauð. The next day is Kettkrókur. He uses a hook to steal meat. The next day is Kurtasknikir. He follows children in order to steal their candles. That is the end. Merry Christmas and Gleðileg Jól.
Gleðileg Jól.
Awesome. How about saying all those Icelandic names? 13 of probably the hardest names to pronounce. They did a great job. Granted, those are also my Icelandic students, so I take some pride in them. Very nicely done. Okay, let's listen to Her himnasmiður, which translates to Hear, Smith of the Heavens. It's all about the creation of the world, and it's really a prayer asking for forgiveness and expressing gratitude. So let me share the screen. All right, so Herr Himmelsschmieder. Beautiful song. I should have prefaced that maybe. I think Mary Lee served on Iceland as well, but I was pretty much the Iceland representative for that one. So, but who doesn't love showing off their mission pictures? So it was kind of nice to go back and pull out all of my mission pictures and get to make that a lot of fun. Next up, we have our Finnish Christmas song. So let me pull up our Finnish presentation and let's hear about Christmas on Finland.
All right, everybody, welcome to our wonderful presentation about the beautiful land of Finland, also known as Suomi in its native own Finnish language. Yeah, let's go right ahead. So the first thing we're going to talk about is joulupukki. Joulupukki is the Finnish version of Santa, basically. Like it says, you can see right there, it means the Christmas goat. That's its literal translation, which I think is kind of funny, haha. Finland's joulupukki receives over 500,000 letters from over 200 countries every year, and most of those letters come from China, Poland, and Italy, surprisingly. Very cool. As you can see over to the right, we've got ourselves a nice little portrait of joulupukki himself visiting Helsinki. Very nice.
Sorry, this is a one of the Zoom recordings, so let me go ahead. I'll probably have to just start it over real quick. There we go. We'll go from right here.
200 countries every year, and most of those letters come from China, Poland, and Italy, surprisingly. Cool. As you can see over to the right, we've got ourselves a nice little portrait of joulupukki himself visiting Helsinki. Very nice. So yeah, that's him. And let's talk a little bit about where joulupukki calls his home. That is called Rovaniemi. As you can see, the little map I've included on the right. Rovaniemi is way up in the north of Finland. Actually, the Arctic Circle, the line itself, that whatever is parallel, that defines what the Arctic Circle is, that runs straight through Rovaniemi. So really, really, really cold, really, really, really big amount of snow. The northern lights that you see there apparently are fantastic. So it's a really cool place. This is where joulupukki lives. He actually, if you can see, lives in one of those spired little houses, but he lives there year round, and people can go up and sit on his lap and go talk to him, and they show all the letters that he's gotten every year. Yeah, Rovaniemi is really small, but it's really cool. Bunch of reindeer, so if you like seeing that, go visit Rovaniemi. So yeah, that's Rovaniemi.
So winter in Finland is super cold and dark, and Finland is actually pretty notorious for being dark and dreary in the winter time. And in the very north of Finland, you don't even have the sun for some of the days, and it's so cold and dark. And this is why the celebration of light is really important around Christmas time for people in Finland, because it kind of helps them ward off the darkness of winter and feel more of the Christmas spirit that we all love and need during dark times like this.
It even starts in September. In one of the cities I lived in, called Jyväskylä, they had a whole festival called the Festival of Lights, Valon Kaupunki, actually the City of Light, sorry. And pretty much the whole city was just decked out in lights, and like the church and by the river, they floated lights down the river, and just people were everywhere. And there's a bunch of food booths. And so it's just a big celebration of light, even in September before the winter came. But then also right around Christmas time, there were still lights right in the middle of the city, like this picture, all along the city. And there's Christmas markets in the downtown center, where there's just all sorts of booths and things to sell and lights everywhere, and definitely lights up the winter. Another thing that lights up the winter is one of the Christmas traditions of visiting the cemetery. Most families on Christmas Eve take a visit to the cemetery, whether it's to visit their own family members who are buried there, or just as a tradition. I think it has to do with the war as well, because when I visited, there's one area of the cemetery dedicated to war veterans where they were buried, and there was lots of lights there, and there were soldiers like kind of guarding it. It was really, really special. And since I was in Finland, but my family doesn't live in Finland, so I didn't have anyone buried there. There is a specific kind of gravestone, or a specific spot where people could place candles if they didn't have someone buried in that cemetery. So it's just a whole thing where everyone goes and places candles on graves, and the whole cemetery is lit up. And it's another way to light up Christmas time, to light up the winter, and to remember the people that are special to us. And it was a really, really special experience to see all those candles.
Equally important to the holiday season is food. One common drink is called glöggi, and it's a spiced hot wine or juice, depending if you drink alcohol or not. And you drink it at the holiday season. It was originally Swedish, but did make its way over to Finland. Also popular is gingerbread, or piparkakku. And that's just the gingerbread we know in America. You have joulutorttu, which is Christmas tarts, and it's a puff pastry that can be folded in a star or pinwheel shape, and it's filled with prune jam, but sometimes you'll replace the prune jam with an apple if you want. And maksalaatikko, which is liver casserole. It's just rice, ground liver, butter, syrup, egg, onion, and raisin with lingonberry jam. And that used to be traditional around Christmas time. You eat it more every day in modern times, but traditionally it is still a Christmas food in Finland. And we hope you enjoyed learning about Finland and its Christmas traditions with us.
All right, great. Props to Natalia for pronouncing all of those Finnish words. Natalia served her mission in Brazil, but we were lucky enough to have her in the Scandinavian choir anyway. So this next, the Finnish hymn is Soi kunniaksi luojan, and it's a hymn of thankfulness for the Creator and for all that He's done for us. So let me pull that one up. common theme you may have noticed now in Scandinavia is that a lot of their Christmas songs are not the upbeat ones we're used to here in America, but they are very beautiful songs, I think. So it's been a lot of fun listening to those and knowing those and learning them this semester. So lastly, to finish up, we do have more of an upbeat song. It's a bit of a happier song. We have our Danish song that I will not try to pronounce the name of. And we're fortunate enough to have a live presentation for our Danish song. So I think I made it so you can share your screen. So any of our Danes in the class, whoever's sharing the presentation, go ahead and try it. And if it doesn't work, we'll try and figure out what's going wrong. Oh, perfect. Looks like it's working. Okay, go ahead and take it away then, our Danish representatives.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Christmas in Denmark.
Oh, Maddie, I think you got muted.
Oh, is it working now?
There you go. There.
Sweet.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay, so risalamande is a traditional Christmas dessert that they basically have like a bunch of like crushed almonds, and there's a whole one hidden in there somewhere, and it's kind of a game, and whoever gets the whole almond gets a little prize at the end. You gotta store it in your cheek if you get it and wait until all of the risalamande is gone, and you drizzle cherry sauce on top. It's real good. And then flæskesteg, which is a version of pork, and it's got the skin roasted on top, which sounds nasty, but it's really good. And then we have duck, which is probably one of the more popular Christmas meats that Danes serve at Christmas. And caramelized potatoes, they basically, just caramelize the potatoes in sugar. And then here we have red cabbage or rødkål, which is a staple in the Danish Christmas food. And æbleskivers, which are basically little Danish pancake balls that they dip in jam and powdered sugar.
Those are the best.
They really are. Personal favorite. Bam.
So Denmark also has a couple of really unique traditions. They also do the Advent thing, like we heard in the Sweden presentation, where you see that there are 4 different candles and they light one every Sunday leading up to Christmas. And it's interesting because they mentioned in Sweden that they didn't really know why. We didn't know why either, and I doubt a lot of Danes know why as well. It's kind of just something that people do, and it's a fun little tradition. And when I was there, they also had a little Advent song that they would sing at that time. Then another tradition is something called a pakkelej, which translates to package game. And in this game, there's a lot of colorfully wrapped packages lying on the table, and you roll different dice. And based on what dice you roll, you get to steal from different people. And you get to keep whatever gifts you've stolen, and it's timed. So it can get kind of crazy stealing gifts from people, and you kind of can form alliances or different things like that. So that's a lot of fun. Another tradition in Denmark is something called a julemarked, which is a Christmas market. And in these Christmas markets, there's lots of little stands popping up all over courtyards in Denmark, where you can buy things like æbleskivers, those little pancake balls. You can also get presents for people and just enjoy the good Christmas cheer and all the lights around. Similar to Finland, it has a lot of lots of lights up because it's pretty dark in Denmark. And then another family tradition is that families in Denmark, or even ward families as well, will line up and dance around the Christmas tree holding hands and singing songs. And one of the funnest parts of this tradition is at one point, everybody will break out of the circle but still be in line, and they'll dance through the entire house into every room while singing this one specific, very repetitive Christmas song. That's a lot of fun. And then you come back to the tree.
And a really fun part of Danish Christmas is all of the decorations. One of the big ones is lights. And we just gotta press the buttons. Danes love candles for any time of the year, but on Christmas they go all out. They have candles of all shapes and sizes. And they have Advent candles. And if you look in the corner, there's another type of Advent candle. You light the candle at the beginning of the month, and it slowly melts down until Christmas, and every day the candle melts a little bit and it marks what day that is. It's really cute. Also in Denmark, they used to do this in America, but now we don't because it's a fire hazard. But in Denmark, they still light live candles on their Christmas trees. And yeah, they just go all out with lights. The downtown area of the kind of bigger cities, bigger towns are beautiful. There's lights everywhere. And Tivoli is an amusement park in Denmark that actually Disneyland was based off of. And they also have like a lot of lights and do big Christmas celebrations there. Over here, if you look at this beautiful branch thing with lights twisted around, fairy lights, this is one of my favorite decorations. I can't remember what this tree is called, but it's a kind of tree that has very small, like twisty twigs and branches on it, and Danes will wrap fairy lights around it and hang them up in their houses, and they're super beautiful. You go next. One of the big Christmas symbols in Denmark is the heart. And so like me, when I was on my mission there and people were starting to put up Christmas stuff, I began to see hearts everywhere. And for like us Americans, it has lots of like Valentine's Day feels, vibes. But the heart, like at this time of year, doesn't just represent romantic love, it represents like charity and love for all mankind. And so there's lots of big red glowing hearts around town during Christmas time. And also they love their flag. The Danish flag is a big part of different just kind of what we would call normal life celebrations, like birthdays, also Christmas. They love to hang up garlands of their flags during like the holidays. Next. And Nisemen. So the Danes, they kind of believe in Santa Claus, but they really believe in Nisemen. And Nisemen they're like little elves. And then we have some live Nisemen in that picture that I found on the internet. I thought they were really cute. But these little elves, if you are good during the year, they'll come and bring your presents. But if you're not, they'll fill your house with mischief and they'll play tricks and jokes on you. They're really cute and they're you see them in like in every Danish home during the holidays.
And then one of the last things about Danish Christmas is the term hygge, and it's a term that can generally be applied year-round, but it's especially prevalent during Christmas. It can't quite be translated into English, but some synonyms for it are like relaxed, chill, or cozy. And it's basically just the idea of being with family or friends and all warm, cozy with hot chocolate, with candles around as explained before, and enjoying each other's company. And that's really big for the Danes, just to take some time and enjoy the season. And
and that is Christmas in Denmark.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I forgot to mention before, there will be a quiz at the end of the concert on all these countries. And unfortunately, there is no prize. But now let's go ahead. Let's listen to our Danish song, Look Julefreden In, which is all about letting in the Christmas peace and the good vibes of Christmas. We'll finish up with that one tonight. Well, that concludes our Scandinavian choir concert. Thank you all for coming and being here and spending the evening with us and giving us a reason to talk about Scandinavia. It has been a wild semester trying to put this all together. Also, I see Diana Brewster is here, who was the previous Scandinavian choir director. So thank you, Diana, for all the music. We could not have done this without her years of getting everything and putting it all together. So thank you for making it an easy transition and getting everything done. But it's been great. I've loved doing this choir. Hopefully some of you feel inspired to potentially join any BYU students that are here and are not part of the choir. Hopefully you'll come join us next semester. And now we have a better idea what we'll be doing next semester. But thank you all for being here. It's great to see you. It's been great doing the choir. Also, I don't see that she's here, but Charlotte Knudsen was our pianist. So thank you to Charlotte and everything she did. And thank you to all the choir members. It was kind of last minute, the last couple of days of classes, I just said, all right, we're gonna record ourselves singing today and that's gonna be our concert. But everyone took out their phones and did it and sent me their recordings and it was pretty good for what we had. So thank you everyone for being here tonight and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much.
Diana, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Sweet.